Hi again then guys, and welcome to another look way back in the Forza franchise to Forza Motorsport 2. As I've said before, my personal entry point into the franchise and the start of a long love affair with it. Likewise with Gran Turismo, I started with the second game, and this particular car is a great rival, I would say, one which is actually far better matched than I'd realised before to another car which we've already reviewed, the AB Flug S900 Supra, because this car, also, of course, a Supra, but this one is the Veilside Supra Fortune F03, and there are two versions. There's the 03 and the 99, the 99 being the superior of the two, which of course we will also discuss down the line. But this one in particular is a perfect rival for that AB Flug. Just like that vehicle, it has controversial visuals. Some people might love what they did to it, some people might hate it. Of the two, I think this one is a little bit more strange in terms of the visual choices, especially at the back end, with the rear window on these Veilside models in particular. But the AB Flug as well is a pretty unique looking car, to say the least. It's got a massive body kit, so does this one. Very Marmite visuals, you love it or you hate it kind of thing. But the specs are so similar between the two cars. Now, pricing doesn't matter too much with these aftermarket vehicles, most of which, if not all, you can win anyway. But incidentally, both this and the 99 model are listed at the same price, 247,000 credits, which is 500 credits more than the AB Flug. So there you go. Very well matched straight off the bat. The category as well on this one is so close. It's S901 to the Flug's S899. So, according to them, that makes this the superior car, which is surprising, given that the Flug has a decent amount more power. 888 horsepower on that car to the 860 on this one. So neither of which are exactly lacking, of course, but still, the AB Flug has a slight advantage there. As far as torque, though, and this gets uncanny almost, they're exactly the same. They both have 625 pound-feet of torque, and the similarities continue, because there's only 4 kilos in weight separating the two cars. The Flug weighs 1,510, this weighs 1,506, and consequently, of course, with similar power and similar weight, the horsepower per tonne is not too far off either of them as well. The Flug, though, does take the cake there, with 588 to this car's 571. So across the board, be it price, class, power, torque, weight, horsepower per tonne, whatever the case may be, they are remarkably well matched. Plus the fact that they are both aftermarket Supras just makes it even cooler, as far as I'm concerned at least. Although I would say that in a funny kind of way, this car has sort of aged better than the Flug, because the Flug to me looks very much like a 90s body kit, whereas this one has kind of a futuristic vibe to it, like a Knight Rider kind of thing, or that equivalent on a Supra. But as I said, it's potentially controversial just the same. So the real question, of course, is, given how similar they are on paper, how do they actually compare in practice? Well, I would say that this car is better in some ways, and not necessarily worse in others, but probably similar in others, because both this and the Flug have surprisingly good handling for a car with so much power, especially given that the Supra isn't generally tuned for track use. Not production ones anyway, they tend to be tuned for drag racing, top-end speed, motorway pulls, that kind of stuff. Not so much as a hardcore track car, though. You do occasionally see those, but not as many. People tend to like making Supras extremely powerful because they're very good at it, whereas it tends to be Evos, Skylines, RX-7s, which are used more around the track. On this occasion, these do seem, on paper at least, to swing for sure more in that direction. They've got big power, big torque, big straight line speed, but that's where it's not the case, and of course that's partially due to the physics of the game, because for as fast as they are in a straight line, they're actually really good through corners as well. And both this and the Flug are, I would say, more forgiving than something like the Lingenfelter Corvette is, or potentially even the Hennessy Venom, the Viper Venom to some degree. Not that those are difficult to drive, but the Lingenfelter in particular is a little bit more slippery than these cars. These handle themselves very well. I think between the two I'd have to give the edge to the Flug. It's a slightly better car, I think, for handling, even though the category of this one is higher by a little bit, albeit. But both of them are extremely fast, I can't recall exactly how the top speeds compare, but I believe this one was the quicker of the two for pure top speed, especially when fully tuned. The acceleration on both is fantastic, although again I would say that this car certainly feels faster. I haven't done a straight up comparison between the two, but I feel like this one would be quicker over a drag of pretty much any distance. They're both rear wheel drive, they're both controversially styled, they're both very well matched, and so if you are a Supra fan, of course the 99 model as well is worth noting. It's even more powerful than both of them, but we'll get to that in due time. But for now, if, as I said, you are a Supra fan, these are two cars which are definitely worth a look, because in later Forza games, the array of aftermarket Supras and just Supras in general started to dwindle more and more, and now in Forza 7 we don't even have any Supras at all. So the fact that these are available in older games, in particular Forza 2, because they were never featured after this, which is a shame, it really does make you realise once you start delving into these aftermarket specials, and they really are just that. These aren't some Fast and Furious style modded, what some would call riced up JDM cars. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that, it's just a different kind of motoring. These are much more than that. These are, as I've said before, more on a level as something like Tommy Kyra, more of this boutique prestige aftermarket car. It's not just a case of having a big wing and a bigger turbo and a couple of decals. It's much more than that. It's more in the vein of something like Tommy Kyra or Roof, where they put a ton of thought into how they want the car to look, how they want it to perform, and the kind of image of their brand that they want to get across. I would say that this and the Flug, and also the even more powerful Veilside as well, are great examples of what can be done when you tune up a Supra with a very specific vision in mind and execute it, I would say, very well. These are very good aftermarket cars, and in the case of both of the Veilsides, they're extremely fast too. So if you do get the chance to pick them up, I would definitely recommend doing so. And for now, that's it for this pick. So of course, I'll see you guys next time, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.